This was Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man. The Ant-Man, he told reporters after the game what happened in the series and what's going to happen in the offseason.
They came ready to play. We didn't. When you lose a game like this, it's not really too much to break down. They just did what they were supposed to do and won the game. They dominated the game from the tip. Can't do nothing but tip my hat to those guys. They came ready, man. So good job by them. Nobody's going to work harder than me this summer. I tell you that much. So, yeah, I'll try to make it happen again for Mike.
I think there's some flaws in the construct of the Timberwolves. There's some expectations of Anthony Edwards that are probably above his level currently of competency. And I don't think that failing 2 years in a row in the Western Conference Finals is a death knell to a 23-year-old's career. I do think people are trying to make him into something. He's like, well, they got to develop a post game. Like, what? Okay, who's the guy who has the post game as a wing in the NBA, like Michael Jordan and Kobe, that currently exists? They don't. Why? Because nobody plays that way anymore. So I think there's a lot more to it than that. Let's welcome in Olden Polynice. Let's not wait till the update. 15 years in the NBA. He's our Fox Sports Radio NBA analyst. He joins us now on the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. OP, thanks so much for taking time with us. Let's start with the Thunder. The perception, I think, nationally is, everybody else is hurt or getting older. This is the best of the rest of the teams. We even discussed, is this the worst champion potentially in 25 years? And then I wonder out loud, no, is this just the dawn of a new era, much like the Warriors, 10, 12 years ago, much like the Bulls in 91. What are your thoughts on this Thunder team and what it means for the Western Conference that they're the Western Conference champion?
Well, it says this, the OKC Thunder, they won 68 games. That's tied for fifth most in the history of the NBA. So you can't take that away from them. What they've done is they've learned how to play within the rules as they are, and they've taken full advantage of it. Also, Mark Dagnall and the rest of that staff, especially Sam Presti, with all the draft picks, they were able to make moves that never really hurt them but made them grow stronger. They built this college atmospheric type situation there, and they have all embraced it. So they play with so much energy, with so much intensity. I mean, I have not seen full court pressure defense since I played in '87 under Bob Kloppenberg, and we were picking up full court. That's how long it's been. And teams in today's game are not expecting that. They don't expect you to do it at the beginning of the game. And that's what's shocking everybody. So they're playing an old school style of basketball with new age players.
Olden Polynice, this is the Doug Gottlieb Show. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio. Okay, you got the Knicks taking on the Pacers tonight, trying to stave off elimination. Tyrese Haliburton, what's your eval of how we should look at him?
Well, Tyrese is, he used the words used against him to show people, overrated. And so to me, and that was foul, with the players doing that and making it public. That wasn't cool. But he's used everything. They bought his dad. He's used that. So he's motivated all the way around. But Indiana, again, similar to Oklahoma City. They run a fast-paced game, and they play like a college style. And they're in Indiana, the home of basketball, pretty much, in my opinion. And it's like they're doing the same thing. They pick you up full court. They put a lot of pressure on you. And they have a championship coach. So those things bode well for them. But Tyrese is the key. This guy, the fact that he's a low-turnover guy is huge. And that's the problem with so many teams, the Knicks, OKC. We go back teams that aren't even in the playoffs, like the Golden State Warriors. It's like teams like that, high turnover teams, it's hard to win. But he's a low turnover guy, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's just taking advantage.
It's the Doug Gottlieb Show on Fox Sports Radio. That's the voice of Olden Polynice. Okay, the Knicks. What's limiting the Knicks in this series and at the top of the NBA?
They're exhausted. You got a guy standing on the sidelines in Tom Thibodeau that doesn't know how to make in-game decisions and adjustments. And it's a shame. I've said this all along. You're going to wear these guys out, and which is what he did. You can't play 5 guys 40 minutes. You just can't do it. Or 4 guys 40, 42. That's insane. You have other NBA players. You have 3 guys on your team in Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright, and Precious Achiuwa, who have been in big games, and yet they can't find extensive minutes under Thibodeau. And so, to me, that's the problem. These guys are gassed, and no one wants to talk about it. You have just driven your team into the ground as a coach, and all he does is stand there with his arms crossed and look silly.
Olden Polynice is joining us. Okay, what about the argument that Brunson can't be the best player on a championship team?
But Brunson maybe should or shouldn't be, but at the same time, it has nothing to do with him. It has to do with the fact that these guys are exhausted, period. Right. Indiana is using that against them. They are, again, picking up full court, different defenders. All of that stuff comes into play. It has nothing to do with whether he can be the number 1 or number 2. To me, I'll say this. I don't believe he and Karl Anthony Towns can coexist. It's too much. One's a big and one's a small, but they're both the same players. They are both the same exact players, just different bodies.
Yeah, it is interesting. Actually, I think Brunson's better inside the lane, whereas I think Towns may be better at shooting threes. They're actually their roles are reversed from the usual roles of men of their size. All right, so if we get Oklahoma City and Indy, both teams have tremendous depth. Obviously, the Pacers want to play at a great pace. Who do you like?
I believe that the series with the Knicks is over pretty much. It's unfortunate because I really like the Knicks and what they did against Boston. But right now, again, the longer the series go, the playoffs go, the worse the Knicks are going to fare. And so I'd rather see Indiana than a worn-out New York team against OKC. So Indiana is going to put pressure on them because of their pace. And I think they can match up pound for pound. Now, the advantage I give Indiana is the fact that I honestly don't think they can stay with Indiana's pace. I really don't. And so to me, and they have, like I said, they have enough bodies to throw at OKC.
They do. And then, of course, we'll see if Haliburton is as good as he's played here in the NBA. What can we learn about the future of the league from these two teams we'll see be playing in the finals?
Well, the future is bright. I believe that, and so it's showing us where it's at. I think we're going to get back to the era of, what we had in the 80s and 90s, physicality. We're seeing that with Caruso, Lou Dort, and those guys, and also with Miles Turner on the other side, and Mathurin, all those guys were Indiana. So they are taking advantage, like I said earlier, of the rules. The playoffs came, and that's what's been shocking to a lot of teams. They're expecting whistles that aren't coming. That's what happened with Minnesota. They thought they were going to get the same whistles or non-whistles like they got in Game 3, and it didn't happen. It messed their minds up. But this league is in an uptick because you got some good young players that are bringing back old school basketball, and that's what I'm loving about it. The mid-range game is coming back, and I am loving stuff like that. Neither one of those teams shoot a lot of threes, but they will shoot them when they need to. So it's a good combination, and the full court pressure defense. I love defense, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, you and me both. It's fun. It's fun to see the depth of those teams. It's fun to see how hard they play. Like you said, sort of a collegiate feel and playing a lot of dudes and pressuring. That's not and the pace the Pacers play is a very, very watchable style. How do we connect those two things? Because Jason Stewart, my producer, well, and he'll straight up tell you, like, not a fan of the NBA. I'm like, dude, you got to watch the playoffs because it's way better basketball than you think. Now he's like, it's really good, but people aren't going to watch. How do we connect the style that's actually being played with the fans who are kind of caught in the narrative of NBA basketball is a hard watch.
Well, we got to get rid of some of the old narratives that they've been used to, because of the plays that we've had in the past. And they got to remember, you were loving the Warriors, but it was almost the same thing that the Warriors were doing. It was hard-nosed defense. It's just that now these two teams that I'm speaking of, Indiana and OKC, they extended it full court. And you got to remember, the NBA is a copycat league. Either one of those teams win the championship, trust me, everybody's switching up. Oh, we need to extend our defense. We need to do this. We need to get a young coach. It's going to happen. It's a copycat league.
OP, you're the best, man. Appreciate you joining us. Let's talk as the finals roll on. Thanks for being our guest on Fox Sports Radio.
All right, Doug.